guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel Archituber. I am architect Vaibhavi and I make content related to architecture and interiors. If you are new here, please take a moment and subscribe to my channel below. So I have been posting about the NATA exam preparation. It's a new series that I have started recently. If you don't know about the series, please go give it a watch. I will leave the playlist over here. Okay, so in this video we are going to be discussing about the main important topics that you have to prepare for NATA 2024 examination. So starting with the part A, the syllabus of NATA 2024 has changed and the pattern has changed. Okay, so they have two patterns. If you have watched the previous video, you might know, but those of you who haven't watched the previous video in which I have discussed about the syllabus, so this year we have two patterns. Okay, the paper A and paper B, which will have the drawing, and the paper B will have your aptitude exam. Talking about the drawing and the composition thing, I think according to the research that I have done, the composition of drawings, and they will ask you to compose any drawing, will have more weightage. Okay, so now let's first discuss about the 2D compositions and the questions that you will be getting asked. So as you can see in the PPT, there are few questions, and generally the questions are in similar manner when it comes to 2D composition. So let's discuss about the first question that you see here. So they have asked you to draw 5 geometric shapes such as circle, triangle, square, rectangle, hexagon. Each of the shape is used at least once, and the composition is to be colored using a medium of your choice. So they did not give you any restrictions considering the color combinations, but they have asked you to have 5 geometric shapes for your 2D compositions. In the second question also, they have asked you, using desired numbers, the basic geometric shapes found in bicycle, make a visually appealing composition without overlapping of the pieces and color it using 3 colors in a medium of your choice. So in this question they have restricted you till 3 colors, and you have to make a composition overlooking and visualizing a bicycle and the geometric shapes that it has. Okay, let's discuss about the 3D composition. This is the most asked question of NATA 2024. You cannot skip on to 3D or 2D compositions or any of the drawing part. That is a mandatory part. Okay, so in this example number 1, so they have asked to depict a situation wherein the man is standing in the balcony. He can see his friends from the other balcony, and the kids are playing cricket, and he can see the compound wall. So for 3D drawings you should be prepared with human figures, perspective drawing, then the building sketch, then realistic tree drawings. Okay, so now discussing about the perspective drawing, the question that has been asked is, imagine you are walking on a street, draw this scene in 1-point perspective. Okay, so we will be discussing about the 1-point perspective in upcoming video, but as you can see, the man has incorporated human figures, the plants, and then the cars and etc. If you look at the detailing, it is done very beautifully. Okay, so you should be able to draw with that much of precision, because in the part A you can score very nicely if you have a good drawing. So I am saying this again and again to practice all of these drawings and the techniques, okay, so that you can score a really nice marks in part A. Then the theory of designs and the mathematical aptitude will have less weightage. Also your language like English and the riddles, they will have less weightage than usual. So prepare for this topic. It is not like that I am telling you these topics are not going to come in the examination. Definitely they will be coming, but then they will have a less weightage according to the research that I have done till now. You have to prepare, like part A, you have to prepare 2D compositions, you have to have 3D compositions, practice about the perspective drawings. As I have said in the previous video, you will be given 90 minutes to for this part A. So accordingly give mock test, have different question sets, and take any of the 3 questions and try to solve them in under 90 minutes. And now coming on to the GK part, which is the part B, aptitude. In this part B, the GK related questions will have more weightage in terms of like famous buildings, famous architects, the location, the shape of the building. They can have different shape of questions. They can ask you in very much of different formats, but you have to prepare yourself for the all general knowledge of architecture or the basic of architecture general knowledge. Okay.
So now discussing about your aptitude B1 and B2 marker, the part B is very important that you have to prepare. You cannot skip on any part, okay? So whether it be a verbal reasoning or logical derivation, you have to solve each and every problem you can solve. Please give mock test, and you can download so many questions and mock test available on internet. So download them and try to solve them as many as you can. So as you can see in these questions, there are diagram rotations, then your relation questions, then your reflection questions, then they have asked about cubes. So on the cubes they have given you a situation, and accordingly they have asked questions. There can be multiple questions on this, so you have to prepare yourself for all these aptitude questions, MCQs and MSQs. So now talking about GK architecture and design, if we consider any topic, let's consider color theory for now. You can see the questions related to it on the screen. So they can ask you in many different manner. So you have to prepare yourself for each and every aspect of question that can be asked. So talking about the GK architecture, as you can see on the screen, they have asked you so many questions related to it. So the first question can be in the format of identify the image, or they can ask you the questions related to the concept or the name of the building or the architect of the famous building and the location of the famous building, okay, and what monument is called, okay, or the concept of the famous monument.
Okay. Talking about the second most important topic, that is HOA, history of architecture. You have to prepare about history of architecture because this will have more weightage, and in general in architecture school you will have to study about the history of architecture because there is a separate subject called history of architecture. So I have posted few videos on my YouTube channel already, so please go give it a watch. I will leave the playlist over here.
So now talking about the history of architecture, you have to prepare for like all the civilization and the timelines of history of architecture from Indian civilization to foreign civilizations. You cannot prepare history of architecture unless and until you prepare for the the timelines of it. So you have to prepare all the timelines of the history of architecture and then prepare the question and the mock tests.
From like the timeline to the key features of the ancient period, what civilizations were there, then the key features of the prehistoric period. We are going to discuss them in upcoming videos, okay, so stay tuned for that as well. Then coming to the building construction and materials, this will have more weightage, okay, so they can ask you about the terminologies, the specifications of the the materials, the material study, then the building components, etc.
Now coming on to the building construction and materials. So as you can see on the screen, they have asked you a bunch of questions related to the element of the building or the terminologies. So you have to prepare yourself for the terminologies, the types of building, the types of roofs, and everything related to construction and materials. This aptitude part is the foundation of architecture, so you have to prepare yourself very nicely for this part B, okay.
I also have the playlist for that, so go give it a watch. And yes, with that I hope you found this video helpful, and in the next video we are going to be discussing about the famous monuments, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in my next video. And you know the drill, please like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel below. I'll see you in my next video.